What's the word, y'all? Always watching TV, back with another exclusive. You know the vibes. Make sure you hit that like button if you're rocking with the content. Get in the comment section, let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you're notified whenever I drop. Alright, let's get into it, boys. We got content. We got Trife, Gangsta, speaking with Wack100, breaking down more facts about the case. Trife Gangsta claims that they changed Taxstone's sentencing date. His date was April 19th at first, but they changed it to May 25th, y'all. And May 25th was the day that the incident happened. So 7 years later is when Taxstone is about to get sentenced. Wack100 and Trife Gangsta thinks that they're going to make an example out of him. That's why they pushed the date back. So we're going to see how that goes. But let's get into the audio and see what they talking about. And we're going to pull up at the end of the video and have a discussion, man. It's always watching TV. Let's get into the content.
That post is really because when it first happened, they wasn't sure who it was with. And he was in the room. So he was
trying to clear the air?
Yeah, because it was hot. You know, remember, Troy Ave wasn't able to do no music in New York City clubs since then. And it was, you know, when people was hot in that situation, Maynard was one who was hot. So they, you know, he had to clear the air. That's all I got out of that.
And then you talking about Brooklyn United.
Yeah, because we was on Brooklyn time before it happened, bro. It was all what it was. Everybody was in the building. I wasn't there that night, but you know, we was moving around the city. Just, you know, it was on some Brooklyn time prior to this situation. So it was a lot of speculation.
Because the whole situation was still caught on camera, though. So even if...
No, the whole situation was not caught on camera. What was caught on camera was a melee, and you didn't see who was in the melee. And the only thing that was caught on full camera was Troy Ave.
Yeah, and that was definitely on camera.
Right, and you couldn't really, if you didn't know, you didn't really know who he was at.
Right.
You just saw him come out the green room. That's the extent of what, and when they pushed that out, they pushed it out as if he shot himself and shot my brother. So the whole narrative was all over the place in the first few months. They told my mother that Av shot my brother. So I had to convince my mother that wasn't what happened. That was the story.
I didn't know that.
Calling him Cheddar Bob, all of that, bro. I want you to understand that they got this man saying he shot himself, his man, and all of that.
Oh,
he was dealing with that story for years.
Your brother was the dude with Troy Ave, right, man?
Yeah, Banger. Ronald McFadden. Okay, that's my little brother.
Right. Okay, so I had a question, right? How do you feel about, like, the fact that Troy Ave cooperated in order to exonerate himself?
I already told you I'm not answering no Troy Ave testimony questions.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I ain't said it in this room. I'm just reiterating it. You heard? I'm still waiting on this sentencing as well. You heard? So I'm just trying to. I don't want to say anything that would have. I'm speaking on facts, but I don't want to say anything that would be used again because they used something allegedly that I was supposed to say at the clubhouse and asked that while on trial. So I know his attorney be eavesdropping and he be eavesdropping, trying to get something to help him. The DA said from the time that from the period that Taxstone first mentioned Troy Ave in his Instagram or his Twitter, if he added him, if he mentioned him, remember it was nothing positive. He was always going at him. He claimed he was bullying Ave. The DA said they pulled the numbers at over 700 plus times that he mentioned or added Troy Ave. And in reverse, Troy Ave probably mentioned him or added him about 50-something times. And I had told Ave long ago to stop responding to dude when he was responding to him on Twitter. So he kept going well after Ave wouldn't even respond to him no more. So once you think about aggression and think about somebody that's mentioning you and at you on a major platform, doing interviews and just talking about how much you a pussy and all the others.
Nah, I definitely know Tax was the aggressor. Like, if you from the towns, you're familiar with the few. So I be knowing what's going on, but at the same time, like, Troy, what he did and how he carried himself in that situation don't justify because he's the victim. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not saying he should have went down for his mans because that's real up. But at the same time, I feel like it could have been better resolutions besides him taking a stand or him ruining his credibility.
Hold up, Leaky. You got to understand. he didn't even have to take the stand. The feds already had to. He's doing something. You don't even understand the case. You got to really know the case, Leaky, because that man, he did that. Taxstone told on himself. He told on himself in the feds. He took the plea deal in the feds before he took this deal. So he had already copped to himself shooting him.
No, Beast. That's not what he copped to. He copped to that except for the shooting. So what he copped to in the feds, he said, it was a 9mm Kel-Tec. It was 3 that Av got. It was in the stash box. In Av car when he went to the hospital. So when he got hit, he went to the hospital. The police at the hospital saw he was shot, and he made everybody inside the caravan. It was like a big caravan. He made everybody get out, and he made them park the van. Once they parked the van, he had the police come. They got the warrant. When they got the warrant, there was a stash box inside of the car. Inside of the stash box, they found 3 guns. The 2 that belonged to Av and the team didn't go in. The 1 they ran the ballistics on. It was Banger DNA, Av DNA, somebody else DNA, the person Av passed to after it happened, and Tax DNA. They ran Tax DNA as he's a felon in possession, ran down to South Carolina, found out who legally owned it in South Carolina, did the homework. That person, whoever in South Carolina, said they sold to Tax.
Oh, so somebody told? Like the alleged
somebody told, bro. They came to South Carolina and said the gun that's illegally from South Carolina, a club and murdered somebody. What do you think that person did? They said that's not my. Yeah, they said that's not me. I gave him the such and such. So he then got arrested for it, and what he pled guilty to in the feds was felon in possession and bringing that gun from South Carolina to New York. But the way the feds work, you have to address the full crime when you plead guilty. So he had to say that gun, he carried that gun into Irving Plaza. And in saying that, you can look the paperwork up, it's probably see it online. He said that got Ronald McFadden and shot other people, but he never said it was him. So up until he pled guilty to that in the feds, he was not charged. Once he pled guilty to the feds, the state then charged him with the murder and everything else. I don't have to do any of that. That's assumption. The person who substantiated that call was also the person who went to the venue with Taxstone. Tax did not go with Maynard. I heard somebody just say Maynard called. That's not what happened. Tax went there with Malcolm and Casanova and 2 women. And the person who substantiated that was Cass on the phone was Malcolm Kenyon, the person that he called that testified against Tax, which is Tax's friend. The person who Tax went and stayed at his crib for a couple of weeks. Same person who Tax met with the night that shit happened. So those are the facts.
So basically, everybody was assuming that it could have been Casanova, but nobody ever said it was Cass. But Trife just went ahead and confirmed that it was the person that Cass was on the phone with. So still in all, the call did have to be substantiated, but Cass didn't have to say anything. It was the person that Cass was on the phone with that actually substantiated the call, correct?
Well, the call didn't have to be substantiated because the feds is a federal wiretap. It's substantiated right there. They had the parties who was calling each other. They knew that was Malcolm's phone, which is under the wiretap. And they knew that was Casanova calling him on the wiretap. Nothing in the courtroom ever said that they spoke to Casanova in any shape, form, or fashion. They didn't say that he spoke about the call. They didn't say none of that. All they said was that was him calling Malcolm Kenyon on that call, and Malcolm confirming that was that call. Yeah, I sat in that courtroom, man, and I could say even myself, man, in the past, man, when I was running wild through them streets, man, I done called the homie or 2 after something popped off and told him, yo, shit just popped off. Fortunately, that wasn't under a wiretap. People did that. That's not nothing. That's never happened before. Malcolm, you can look him up, Malcolm Kenyon, who was one of the star witnesses on May 25th, when the incident happened, was already under federal investigation. he was the head of his empire or whatever he was running. Wasn't necessarily wasn't no gang. It was just an organization where he was trafficking drugs and guns. He's from Poughkeepsie, New York. Been running through New York, was doing little music. The feds had already got people that worked under him to testify against him. So they was already lining him up when that wiretap was happening. He's facing a minimum of 42 years. If you go back to the first videos that came out, there was only a quick TMZ video of what was happening in the room, and then you had some other footage where you seen Casanova talking to Mano and murdering them, asking why nobody helped Tax. They was referencing that video when Troy Ave was being cross-examined by Taxstone's attorney. At that point, the attorney was naming certain people, trying to create reasonable doubt of people that was in the room, like as if all these other possible people could have did it. And he mentioned Mano's name. Once he mentioned Mano's name, questioned Troy Ave about Mano, then Ave then made his statements about Mano. He didn't just offer Mano's name up. The DA said it took less than 5 seconds from when they fully entered that room for the first shot to go off. 5 seconds.
That mean that nigga came in to get. Yeah, see, that's even. Now listen, where was that nigga? The other nigga, with the Casanova? Because if you saying 5 seconds, was Casanova right there? Was he out the way?
He was in the room, but out the way.
Oh, so he knew what time it was.
Yeah, he ran about there. They saw him several times after a couple of shots running in and out the room. You could see all the people when they was running in and out the room. Remember, Irving Plaza has clear footage of in front of the room. And the same way you see Av coming out, they have all that footage so you can see how many times who ran in and out. So that's how they know that Cass, remember, even though they had Cass as a suspect, when they saw the footage and the other shots was happening, it was clear that he wasn't in, because he was outside the room when it was happening. They just changed his sentence date.
To what, bro? Earlier or later?
To May 25th.
What was it at first? Damn, wasn't it this month?
It was April 19th.
Oh, what's that about?
They changed it to May 25th. May 25th, that's the day it happened.
Oh.
7 years later.
Oh, make an example. That ain't good.
Yup.
They about to make an example out of him, bro.
That's why I mentioned that. What's up, bro?
Nah, that's an example. So the day you did it, so that's
7 years later.
That's the documented death date of your brother.
Correct.
Oh yeah, he's finna give your mama a gift.
The email, I got an email today that told me that it said April. When I saw May 25th, I said, "Oh wow."
Yeah, he finna make an example. They finna stretch his nuts.
That's an example. That's an example. That's why I mentioned.
That's why when you just said that, I'm like, yeah, they finna make an example. They ain't gonna do that to give him nothing reduced. They finna max him out.
Well, you heard the man, boys. Trife claims they never messed with Taxstone. He also claimed that the DA had a total of 700 tweets from Taxstone, a total of about 50-something tweets from Troy Ave, man. Taxstone was going crazy. Every day he sending a tweet at Troy Ave. And then they pushed that man's sentencing date back to the date that the incident happened. How much time y'all think he about to get, man? I said 20 at first, but after hearing Trife break down more facts, man, it's looking like boy about to get an elbow. Y'all pull up in the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel about this, man. Trife Gangsta breaks down more facts about the case with Wack100. The boy Taxstone is looking nasty, man. As always watching TV, you know the vibes, and I'm out of here. Get.